27. We're back with the Motor City Madman song, Stranglehold. And he really had a stranglehold in terms of the violent rhetoric that was used during the presidential campaign, specifically directed at Barack Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton. And then all of a sudden, he had an epiphany. And today, early in the broadcast day here at WABC, he chose the one program out of the many he could have come on to announce how he was reeling it back and changing his tone. And he did it on the new Curtis and Ebony K. Williams show.
But at the tender age of 69, my wife has convinced me that I just can't use those harsh terms. I cannot, and I will not, and I encourage even my friends/enemy on the left in the Democrat and liberal world that we have got to be civil to each other.
On the line to discuss that, Steve Adubato, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster on the PBS flagship WNET and NJTV, and author of the new book, Lessons in Leadership. Steve, would this be an example of leadership breaking from the mold and trying to set out in a new direction?
Well, first of all, I mean, I've never been a fan of Ted Nugent's, but in this case, I am impressed. This is leadership in the sense that he knew that what he had done was wrong. He wanted to rectify it. He chose your program with Ebony to do that. And when I was listening to it, I thought, this isn't really happening. Ted Nugent is not saying that he made a mistake. Ted Nugent is not rolling back the rhetoric. But I'll tell you what, listening to this right now is reason to be hopeful in the midst of these horrific, disgusting events of yesterday where people take their political ideology together with insanity and use weapons, violence, to solve nothing but to hurt, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. In this case, Republicans are targeted. No justification at all. Well,
Steve, another shooting and another call for unity. Is this going to exist for maybe a 72-hour news cycle? You know, the softball game will be played tonight between Democrats and Republicans. We're all concerned about the continued health of Representative Scalise, who is going to have continued surgery. But will this disappear, too?
Well, first of all, our thoughts and prayers, obviously, everyone listening now, me included, you as well, I know, to Representative Scalise and his family. But the other side of this is Gabby Giffords. I remember when it happened with Gabby Giffords, she happened to be attacked, shot. Now, she was a Democrat. It doesn't make a difference what you are, Democrat or Republican. Everyone came together, Curtis. Everyone said, this is it. We understand. We need to have a kumbaya moment. It lasted a nanosecond. I hope and pray that this is different. History would tell us something different, but I want to remain optimistic, because to give up and say they're just going to go back to the same partisan, nasty, vicious rhetoric, not listening to each other. Hey, by the way, Curtis, disagreeing is part of the American Constitution. It's what you do every day at WABC. This is something different, very different.
So what lesson from leadership can we take from the fact that we haven't been able to bring both sides together, and it seems like we're drawing further and further apart?
The biggest lesson for me, Curtis, is to not be so damn convinced that you are so damn right. And when people are so convinced that they're so right, that everyone else is wrong, some people, normal people, in the sense of they're not crazed, don't listen to anyone else, don't care what anyone else's point of view is. They trash others. They call names. But those who are crazed, those who have mental health problems, take that rhetoric. And like Ted Nugent said, and you guys challenged him, you and Ebony said, you don't know that someone who's deranged could listen to you. The lesson is tone back the rhetoric. Disagree, but do it respectfully without being so nasty and hate-filled. And by the way, Kathy Griffin, she was and is a part of this as well, and I'm not buying her crocodile tears.
Now, also, there is the play that is taking place in Central Park. I saw the audience coming out last night jammed. I mean, jammed to the rafters in the Pap Theater. The recreation of Julius Caesar as Donald Trump with Brutus and Cassius, not killing Caesar, but killing Donald Trump. Are they able to justify this through creative license?
Curtis, part of the problem is I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to duck it. I never have with you before and say, well, I haven't seen it, so I don't know about it. No, I do know about it. But my interpretation, secondhand, because I haven't seen the play, is this. I don't get it. I don't get how you use literary or artistic license to mock the potential killing of a president of the United States in this form. I guess they have a right to do it under the Constitution, and that is what people fought in wars for, their right of free speech. I don't see how it helps the situation. I see it ratcheting up the rhetoric and the nastiness and the craziness of them, whether they be Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, or liberals, who want to do violence to others. It doesn't help, so I'm not a fan of it, and I don't intend to see the play because of it.
Do appreciate that. Steve Adubato, often a guest for us here on the Drive Home at 5, author of the book Lessons in Leadership.
From the NJDiet.com studios, 77 WABC, New York.